Hi everyone, welcome back to Family Forge. It's been a while since our last video, which was definitely not intentional. First of all, I was feeling sick for a while. I actually attempted to start to make a hook and got partway through and then almost fainted, so figured better stop then. So then when I was finally feeling better, I was driving to my parents' house. It's about half an hour away from my house, and I was just a mile away turning onto their road, and someone coming up the road just slammed in the side of my car. So I'm okay now, but it's been a while just trying to deal with that, and yeah, wasn't fun. I think I'm finally ready to make this hook. If you haven't seen the last video where my dad demonstrates how to make this hook, I'd suggest watching that first. Otherwise, let's get started.
Now it's your turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna mark this at 4 inches first, cold. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be enough to find it later. Find your mark.
It's been a while since I've done this now.
The hammer tends to bend that rod slightly back from the point, and maybe you should be out closer to the point so that you're not bending of course it's hot behind the point, so it's going to be really flexible. Yeah, that's not bending the whole shaft of the... Gotta go get my glasses.
Getting fairly good point.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I looked like you were doing a good job, but I couldn't see without my glasses, so I walked over and grabbed them.
Does that look like the point is fine enough?
Yeah, and then in the process of rounding that off, it'll also stretch the point out a little bit more. It looks nice and straight. You don't have to necessarily straighten it out if you have a sense that you're doing okay, but it's safer to, things can get out of control if you overdo something.
Let's see, so I guess
I think you could start
go
going
to
the 8 sides.
diamond, or the octagon.
You can also always go back to the 4 sides again and kind of stretch it a little more if it
needs it.
Now you can use the flat side.
Just do that a little bit more.
Yeah, and try to get both the original 4 sides and then the new 4 sides all about the same.
Now it's kind of hard to see when it's...
between the sunlight coming in and the clouds all of a sudden went away. And the glow of the steel when you pull it out of the fire kind of makes it really hard to see what's going on sometimes until it cools off.
Okay, I think those all look about the same to me.
Maybe stretch that point out just a little bit more. So like maybe right in there, just a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. Which end should I, does it matter?
Yeah, you could just stay with the flat.
Flat, yeah.
And it doesn't really have to be any...
Yeah, that looks
but we are gonna, if 3 times the diameter, a little over 3 times the diameter goes into the loop, then if you had an 1/8 of an inch diameter loop, you'd lose about, 3/8 rolling it up into a loop, and then you'd be back into where the material is kind of thick again, and there'd be less of a taper to your hook.
Okay, so I guess I'll just go back and keep on working on the smoothing out that whole thing.
So that it looks like it's just a round taper.
Okay, so I just have to come out to smooth this area more for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
So next you'll be just heating it up and then knocking the end down over the...
Is it this hammer that I...
Yeah, sure. Try a little hammer so that you don't need to... I mean, you get to where you can use a big heavy hammer to do something very light and delicate, but it's probably easier just to use a lighter hammer. That's good. And then just kind of, maybe you want to heat it up again.
Yeah.
And quickly, it doesn't
take long.
Split second. Kind of watch the end of it and see what it's doing. And then, in order to tuck that point
over,
and you can kind of
that, or
yeah, I guess so. And then could go back to driving the end in a little bit and maybe heating it up again.
Yeah.
It's a lot more flexible when it's hotter. And you can even go straight in on the end a little bit more if you...
I'll heat it up again, but
I think, and you could even position it like that,
so it's
and then
to see what's going
on the opposite side, and just that'll have the effect of driving
that little point
in,
so it's touching the rest of it.
So it's touching the rest of it. So you're.
There we go.
Yeah.
Then just.
Now you've kind of almost rolled it up like a scroll.
Yes.
Now you can just heat it up and then cool that tip and try to roll it in over the horn. Over time, you'll get a good feel for just where to hit it to get what reaction. If you want to try that little horn in the... Of course, that's a different spot on your focus. case the anvil sort of gets in the way a little bit of itself. Yeah, that's true. You can just do that. Yeah. Yeah, it gets like I would want to bend it right. Well, yeah, you might be able to just drive in on that especially when that spot was hot.
Yeah.
But it's even now it's doing it.
Yeah.
No, there's just so many unconscious tricks that you slowly evolve. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Open it up a little bit. Yeah.
What else does it need? I feel like it needs something else.
I would knock it right there. Just if you could get it to bend there a little bit more,
okay, yeah.
Which would mean kind of hitting it in, supporting this spot and hitting that spot and forcing it to bend in the middle. But it would be best to heat that spot. I mean, you could even cool the first inch or so or whatever, so that you don't mess with that.
Okay, so
I would just put it like that and hit it like towards you like that, yeah. Just now look at it and does that help or?
Yeah, I think.
Except for you want it to straighten out a little back and farther back, and then you could go like you did before and just hit down on that side.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to kick that, now of course that point's already been cooled, but
yeah, I think that
if you wanted to kick that point in that way a little bit more, you could always.
So like. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good.
I know that that's a lot of fussing around trying to get it exactly how you want it, but it's fun to get it just how you want it. So now we're about to cutting it off.
Okay, just find my marks. Okay.
I mean, you could just grab the end like that in one hand and see if you can, or push down over the point of.
There.
Looks pretty clean.
Yeah.
You want to just squeeze this in that. Well, even like that. If you just file on that a little bit.
Yeah, just get the little sharp bit.
It's just a little where it broke off. Ready?
Yep. Okay, now this is the tricky part, just like managing the tongs.
There. You want me to just hand it to you or you want to try it?
Sure.
If I do it like that?
Yeah. And then I want this to be pointing down.
Maybe we should just heat that up again.
Yeah, by the time we got it.
By the time we got in position with the rehearsal, we should have rehearsed that.
Right. There we go. Now I've lost so much heat again.
Back it up over that line just a little bit more so that you can. Once you have that step sort of established, let's straighten that out. Put it that way, and push it forward even more, and kind of tap that lightly, but not. I think I might try to hold it down. I'd like to see that try to kind of knock that end down a little bit, and also drive in
the step a little bit further.
Step a little bit so that it's more defined, and then tip it down and drive that down. That'll kind of swing that back around.
I think I forgot to like angle it down as much as I should have.
Yeah, that helps kind of establish that step to drive that that corner of the anvil into the material.
Come on. Okay, so angle down, try to...
Yeah, that looked better. Didn't that feel better?
Yeah, it did. Okay, so now
I think what I want you to do is heat it up and use that cross peen hammer, even that big heavy one. Try to cut into it right in the middle of that, right in the center, and just and then kind of move back and forth a little bit from the center. Try to flip the hammer over and hit it with the round face. And what you really need to do probably is to kind of, let me just see that a second. I would try to hit the round face up closer to the to that edge to
try to get those corners
out more. And then the whole thing is kind of getting curved backwards again. Sometimes you can kind of do something like that if it starts bending sideways and as well as down. But if you focus on right on the edge of the anvil at an angle, slightly like that, where you're not hitting the top. I know that the whole thing is kind of nitpicky as far as.
Well, it's good to learn where to hit it to make it go where you want
exactly.
it.
Where to stay away, where to stay away from, and where to emphasize it. And the impact of the hammer can be pretty subtle, where it looks like you're just kind of working the whole surface of it, but you're actually only working the third of it that's right by the sharp edge of or slightly rounded edge of the anvil. And then you can always look at the other side and see how it's looking. That looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
There's a kind of a flat and a flat there, and I'm just thinking how if you kind of hit it right in the middle with the round face of the hammer, and that's the kind of thing where you could just go and file that slightly, and just the way it is.
But it's good practice to try to get it how you want it with just the hammer. Okay, it's getting a little easier to transfer with the tong situation.
It is just a choreography, it's a dance that you have to practice it over and over again. I think that's close enough to...
just file it just a little bit just to get that little little point.
That little point to straighten the backbone of it there is down like that is with the flat. Like that. Yeah, sometimes it'll come out perfect with just hammering it out on the anvil, and other times a little filing will fix it.
Okay, that looks fine. Yeah, that looks good.
And we're gonna grab it in the vise and then We can loosen this and underneath and move the thing around until it sort of hits that spot, and then tighten this on the bottom. And then I'll let you pull down the...
So you just, okay, you just bring this like this.
And you can feel it going through. And now it won't grab when it goes. As the drill punches through the backside, it can grab a little bit, and if you're holding it in freehand, it can, sometimes it'll jerk it out of your hand when you're drilling it, so it's safer to put it in a vise.
So now just wire brush it?
Wire brush it. Have it rubbing down on the material all the time so that you're kind of working it along like that sort of thing, and when you go to do the ends, again, have that down. If it catches like that, it'll just rip it out of your hand and throw it down. The bristles will bend around and kind of get the inside a little bit. That's just to get rid of the scale so that it looks smooth. And then that's especially where those safety glasses are important. And you can then look at the surface and see what it looks like. Like that's probably harder than it needs to be, but we can always re-blacken it.
I don't know how, when you touch, if you touch it, how much it is abrasive.
Yeah. If it was a grinding wheel, it would chew your hands up pretty good. The light bristles, you can bump your skin a little bit. And you can just tickle it pretty lightly sometimes and still have it be effective. And it's safer than pushing too hard before it can grab the material more. The bristles also kind of scratch the surface lightly in a way that kind of erases marks.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to get in there.
Yeah, I think I would kind of lightly go in, and then I kind of hold that point down. I would kind of go. I've had the brush wheel grab it and throw it out of my hands onto the floor quite a few times, but I've also had it come back and get stuck in the bristles. Once when I was about 20 or so, I had a drive hook with a nail point on the end, and the nail caught into the bristle, embedded the bristle deep, the nail part of the hook deep into the brush wheel, and it ripped it out of my hand, came back around, threw it in my face. So ever since then I've kind of learned to respect the brush wheel.
Okay, I think that looks
good.
Yeah.
It's just kind of magical to me that you can kind of just start with this rod and end up with something that's solid steel and yet it's so kind of delicate. And I know it's kind of maybe better than it needs to be just for a simple hook, but it's fun to kind of challenge yourself to see how nice a job you can do, how clean you can make it look.
So just putting it back to blacken just a little bit.
Yeah, just gonna try to let it get a dull red, and just want to oxidize the whole surface so that it's clearly dark. So then we can just let that cool off.
Okay.
I just found that the Minwax dried really quickly, that antique oil finish, and that kind of was the easiest thing. You weren't having to handle something hot and wipe it off hot. It's just watery, thin oil, but it has dryers in it and it dries pretty quickly. I'll just let that dry like that.
I'm very happy with how my hook turned out, especially since I've been away from the forge for a while. While I'm learning, I'm not concerned about speed at all. I'd rather take my time to make one thing that looks nice than to make a bunch of crappy things fast. And I know speed will come with practice. Like and subscribe if you're hooked on this channel. Sorry, that was terrible. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.